Never drive into the fog. If the fog rolls across State Road 67, turn around. Don't stop. Don't slow down. And whatever you do, never drive into the fog. That was the warning everyone in Cedar County knew. Most people laughed at it. They called it an old road story. Something parents told teenagers so they wouldn't speed at night. But the people who lived near State Road 67, they knew better. Because the cars were real. The disappearances were real. For over 60 years, people had vanished whenever the fog came in. Their vehicles were found sitting on the shoulder, engines still running, headlights still shining, doors wide open, but the drivers were gone. No blood, no footprints, no bodies, nothing, just fog. Michael Reynolds knew the stories better than anyone. 20 years ago, his wife, Claire, disappeared on that road. She had called him on her way home from work. Her voice was tired, but happy. She told him she would be home in 15 minutes. Then she said, "Michael, the fog is really thick tonight." Those were the last words he ever heard from her. Her car was found the next morning on State Road 67. The driver's door was open. Her purse was still inside. Her phone was on the passenger seat. But Claire was gone. For months, police searched the woods. Volunteers walked the ditches. Dogs were brought in. Rivers were dragged. Nothing. Eventually, everyone stopped looking. Everyone except Michael. Every year, on the night Claire disappeared, Michael returned to State Road 67. And every year, the fog returned too. But this year was different. This year, Michael saw someone inside it. A shadow. A tall figure standing in the middle of the road. Perfectly still. Watching him, Michael stepped closer. "Hello." The figure did not answer. It only raised one long arm and pointed into the fog. Michael's heart began to pound. For 20 years, he had wanted an answer. Now it felt like the answer was calling him. He got into his truck, turned the key, and drove straight toward the white wall ahead. The fog swallowed him instantly. The road disappeared. The trees disappeared. Even the sound of the engine faded, until all Michael could hear was his own breathing. Then, everything went silent. No tires on pavement. No wind. No world. Just white. Then suddenly, the fog cleared. Michael slammed on the brakes. The truck skidded sideways and stopped. He stared through the windshield. State Road 67 was still there, but everything around it was wrong. No houses. No streetlights. No power lines. No sound of traffic in the distance. The sky was gray and dead. The air smelled like wet dirt and rust. Michael stepped out of the truck. "Claire." His voice disappeared into the silence. Then he saw them. People. Standing along the road. Dozens of them. Men. Women. Children. All staring at him. Their clothes looked wrong. Some modern. Some old. One man wore a suit from another decade. A woman held a purse that looked like it belonged in an old photograph. Nobody spoke. Then someone pushed through the crowd. A woman. Michael stopped breathing. Claire. She looked exactly the same. Same face. Same eyes. Same hair. Not a single wrinkle. Not one gray strand. Michael whispered, "No." Claire covered her mouth. "Michael." She ran to him. He grabbed her so tightly he thought she might disappear again. He cried into her shoulder like a man who had been holding his breath for 20 years. "I found you," he whispered. "I finally found you." Claire pulled back slowly. Her eyes were filled with fear. "What are you talking about?" Michael stared at her. "You've been gone 20 years." Claire shook her head. "No." Her voice broke. "Michael, I disappeared 3 days ago." The words hit him like ice. 3 days. For her. 20 years for him. Claire took him to a place the missing people called the Gray. It was a settlement built beside the road, made from broken cars, road signs, scrap metal, and whatever came through the fog. Hundreds of people lived there, all of them missing, all of them trapped. Some said they had been there for a week. Some said a month. One woman said she vanished in 1962. She looked 35. Nobody aged in the Gray. Nobody got sick. Nobody died. But nobody escaped either. At night, the people locked themselves inside their cars. They covered the windows. They whispered instead of speaking. Michael asked why. An old man named Harold leaned close and said, "Because that's when they come out." Michael looked toward the fog. "Who?" Harold's face turned pale. "The ones who stayed too long." That night, Michael heard them, scratching along the metal walls, dragging footsteps on the road, low voices outside the car windows, whispering names. Claire held Michael's hand in the dark. "Don't look outside," she whispered. But Michael did. Through a crack in the covered window, he saw shapes moving in the fog, tall human silhouettes, too thin, too still, their heads tilted like they were listening. One of them stopped beside the car. It slowly turned toward Michael, and even though it had no face, Michael knew it was looking at him. The next morning, Harold told him the truth. "The fog doesn't just trap people," he said. "It changes them." Michael looked at the road. "At first, you're normal. Then you start hearing it. The fog starts calling your name. After enough time, you stop wanting to leave." Claire lowered her eyes. "What happens then?" Harold pointed toward the white mist at the edge of the road. "You become part of it." Michael remembered the figure that pointed him into the fog. His stomach turned. "That thing brought me here." Harold nodded slowly. "They always do. The fog needs someone to invite the next one in." Michael looked at Claire. "We're leaving." For 2 days, they searched for a way back. Then Harold showed them an old road sign buried in mud. It read, State Road 67. Only the numbers were backwards. Harold said the fog opened there sometimes. A doorway, a way home, but only for a few seconds. That evening, the fog began to roll in. Michael and Claire climbed into his truck. People gathered along the road. Some begged to come. Others watched in silence. Harold only said, "If you make it back, don't ever return." Michael started the engine. Claire squeezed his hand. The fog opened ahead of them. Thick, white, alive. Michael hit the gas. The truck raced forward. The road shook beneath them. Voices screamed from inside the fog. Some were strangers. Some sounded like Claire. Some sounded like Michael himself. Then the windshield cracked. The headlights burst. Claire screamed, and the world went white. Michael opened his eyes. Rain tapped against the windshield. Streetlights glowed overhead. A car horn blared behind him. He was back. State Road 67. The real world. Claire was beside him, alive, crying. They had made it. Michael laughed. He laughed until he couldn't breathe. Then he saw the date on the dashboard, and the laughter died in his throat. It was the same night Claire disappeared. 20 years ago. Only minutes had passed. Claire looked at him. "Michael, what's wrong?" He stared at his hands. Older hands. Weathered hands. Hands that did not belong in this time. He turned to the window. In the reflection, he saw his face. 20 years older. Michael understood. Claire had never been missing. Not here. Not now. He had. The moment he drove into the fog. Michael Reynolds became the missing person. Claire stared at him with horror. "Michael, why do you look like that?" Before he could answer, the radio crackled. Through the static, a voice whispered, "Come back." The fog began crawling across the road. Slowly, hungrily, Michael grabbed Claire's hand. "Run." They jumped out of the truck. Claire ran toward the lights of a gas station in the distance. But Michael couldn't move. The fog wrapped around his ankles. Cold as death. Claire screamed his name. Michael reached for her. Their fingers touched, then slipped apart. The fog pulled harder. Michael fell to the pavement. He clawed at the road, but the white mist dragged him backward. Claire sobbed. "Michael." He looked at her one last time. Young, alive, safe. Then the fog swallowed him. They found Claire the next morning on State Road 67. Alone. Her car was still running. The passenger door was open. Police asked her what happened. Claire told them the truth. That her husband had returned from the fog, 20 years older, and then vanished right in front of her. Nobody believed her. They said she was in shock. They said grief made people imagine things. But Claire knew what she saw. And every October after that, she returned to State Road 67, waiting for the fog, waiting for Michael. Then, 20 years later, A young couple driving home late at night saw something standing in the mist. A tall figure, silent, still, watching from the middle of the road. The driver slowed down. The woman in the passenger seat whispered, "Do you see that?" The figure raised one long arm and pointed into the fog. The driver leaned forward, squinting, and for 1 second, the headlights caught its face. A man's face. Pale, hollow, familiar. Michael Reynolds. Or what was left of him. The woman screamed. The driver hit the gas, and the car vanished into the fog. That was the last time anyone saw them. So if you ever find yourself on State Road 67, and the fog starts rolling in, turn around. Don't stop. Don't slow down. And whatever you do, never drive into the fog.